your own, 'cause you can't finish what you start. No. I'm sorry, that distracted me. Man, something just popped me.
It's time. It's time to talk about the second song on Elliott Smith's classic album, Either Or. Alameda is a fascinating song, and the guitar part isn't too hard. In this video, we're going to do a full playthrough with chord charts, as well as break down a little backstory. Let's get started. This series is about learning Elliott Smith's songs the way he played them. That means diving into half chords, alternate tunings, and all the other details that made his songs so special. There's really only one way to make sure you're getting his guitar parts right, and that's watching live videos. My first step is always to look for every live video I can find of Elliott Smith playing a certain song, and sometimes I check for covers and tutorials as well. By the way, anyone who's interested in my process for learning these songs can check out my video on learning the first track, Speed Trials. For some songs on the self-titled album, like Good to Go or Single File, I struggled to find any footage to help me, live videos or covers. Luckily, that was not an issue with Alameda. It seems like he enjoyed playing the song because it shows up in a lot of his late 90s performances. As I mentioned in the first video of this Either Or series on Speed Trials, Either Or was the first of Elliott Smith's solo albums where he was able to expand his arrangements beyond his usual doubling and light accompaniment. I think the sequencing of the album is brilliant in that regard, starting with Speed Trials, a track that closely resembles the first two albums, and following it up with Alameda. The track begins with full and aggressively bright sounding drums, already a departure from his previous solo music. As the track goes on, we get layered acoustic and electric guitars, organ, and choir-style backing vocals. I had a pretty strong reaction to this song when I first heard it. I somehow only started listening to Elliott Smith's music about 3 years ago, and whenever I'm checking out an artist that I know has a beloved catalog, I always listen to their albums in chronological order. From the opening moments of Roman Candle, I was hooked. I loved the quiet intensity of that album and self-titled, and I spent a few months just listening to those two. I wonder how many people who were fans of Elliott Smith already in '97 had the same reaction I did when I first heard Either Or. While I love the record now, after the first few snare slaps on Alameda, I actually turned it off. Keep in mind, I had never heard any of his later music. I didn't know about XO, Figure 8, From a Basement on the Hill. I didn't know about the Barry sax on A Question Mark. I know a lot of people were introduced to Elliott Smith through this album, and it's a lot of people's favorite. But I'm really curious, if anyone watching this was a fan of Elliott Smith before '97, or listened chronologically like me, did anyone else feel the same initial distance to this record? One of the very special things about Elliott Smith's music is the emotional honesty and intensity of the lyrics, and that quality is heightened by the recording style of the first two albums. Bare arrangements, often just voice and guitar, doubled parts panned left and right. The sound envelops you. It feels intimate and personal. But as deeply beautiful as that approach is, there's another equally beautiful way to deal with heavy topics in music, and that's with contrast. Many beloved musicians and songwriters, from Bob Marley to Andre 3000 to Dolly Parton, talk openly about a kind of manipulation in their music.
A lot of your songs have a very obvious message, but one of the most popular, I Shot the Sheriff, that doesn't seem to have any message.
Yes, that message, a kind of diplomatic statement.
Yeah?
Yeah, you have a kind of suss things out.
What do I do best? How do I talk to this man? I write songs. So I wrote I Will Always Love You, took it back the next day, sat down and played it to him, and he was crying. He said, "That's the best song I ever heard."
When you combine a powerful message with a catchy hook, a groove, or something that makes you want to dance, the lyrics can slip past your conscious mind and enter your subconscious. For this reason, it's often a valuable tool in political and social movements, and it also makes pain more palatable. It can be surprising to read the lyrics from some of the most popular songs and find they're actually about some really heavy topics you might never have noticed. While Elliott Smith's earlier, sparser music connected right away with me, for many that raw quality can be off-putting. Making good music is often about striking a balance between two extremes. Elliott Smith himself generally preferred music with clean production and exciting arrangements. It wasn't a surprise to anyone who knew him that he upgraded the clarity and scope of his records as soon as he had the means to. I think it's beautiful that each of his albums capture a different stage in his evolution in that regard, and it's why he's one of the rare artists that have different groups of fans passionately declaring each one of his albums as his best. Right. Even with all the layers I've been talking about, the core of Alameda and every song on Either Or is an incredible guitar part. I haven't found any live shows where he performed this song with an organ, let alone a second guitar. Most of the performances are just him, singing and playing. You start to appreciate how brilliant this part is when you hear it on its own. Let's look at the intro. Finger picking in the beginning is a little tricky. Let's slow it down. After the first two chords, he switches to strumming, but he still brings out a lot of melodic detail. During the verse, he simplifies the part a little bit. There's a cool moment where he slides up in the chorus. It's hard to hear on the record, but he does it in his live performances.
You broke your own cause you can't finish what you start. No.
Here it is slowed down. There's a short bridge that only happens once. It goes right into the guitar solo. Now let's try a full playthrough with chord charts. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe to catch the rest of the Either Or series. And then just hit play on this.
You walk down Alameda, shuffling your deck.
Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time for track 3, Ballad of Big Nothing.